What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy TraderPrad, and we are back with another week, another full episode of why did I say full? Another beautiful episode of the TraderPrad show, and the show where we look at all things stock market, all things that move around. Hopefully, all of you had a wonderful weekend and an even better market to start off with this week. Not really sure how the market moved around. I'll be honest with you, I was a little busy. I didn't go to work today. I didn't trade today. I was busy with other things, so didn't really get to watch the market move. But we will be looking at all the things that moved around today. I did look at the most active stocks on the day. Have them on the watch list. Some of the stocks that moved around all of last week, we'll take a look at those, see how they moved around today, and see if they give us any opportunities for tomorrow. But one thing that I need to point out, obviously, is Wednesday we got FOMC, and it'll be hard to expect the market to kind of move too much before FOMC. I'm expecting people are a little patient before the interest rate decisions obviously come out on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, but the markets did break out. We are seeing QQQ breaking out to the upside. We're seeing the SPY breaking out to the upside. Everything looks like we're preparing for a nice little Santa Claus rally right before the end of the year, exactly the time where Santa Claus rally should kind of come in. Hence the thumbnail today is a little bit of a Santa Claus picture over there, as you guys see. Since we're talking about the Santa Claus stuff anyways, why don't I just bring it in right now? We have a giveaway going on. So if you do & giveaway, you'll get a link in the chat where you can apply for a giveaway. You can apply for either a 1 month free pass to a Midjourney's AI bot, the bot that we use to create thumbnails right now, the one that you're seeing every single day. And also you get a chance to win a 3-month subscription of an Xbox Game Pass. So I got 2 things going on for Christmas over there for a giveaway. If you guys want to sign in for that, do & giveaway in the chat, or you can also go in our Discord server. It's in the announcement section over there if you didn't get a chance to apply for it yet. So go get that started. Let me just quickly do this over here, see if the stream is working. Just making sure the stream is working. How's everyone doing? Let's see. I see a lot of people in the chat. We got CDP, TH with a number 2 saying number 2 leg. Josh coming in, CPI in the AM tomorrow. Ooh, okay. CPI is in the morning, so that's something to take a look at, obviously. So a lot of stuff on store. We have a big watch list as always, and I also want to say something. I have 2 new things that I've going. I guess 3 new things, and you can see all those 3 things in the title of the stream route down below. You can do & giveaway for the giveaway. You can do & Patreon, which is a new thing that I've started. I know I said I'm going to keep the streams free for as long as I can possible, and they are pretty much still free. I'm going to do everything to keep the Discord free, to keep everything that I do free. But for some of the people out there who feel like they want to support my adventures over here on the YouTube sphere and want to help me afford a slice of pizza every now and then you can feel free to do so by supporting me on Patreon. The link is also in the description below. You can also do ! Patreon in the chat to get that link. You can subscribe to a monthly no perk, just support tier, or you can also sign up for an extra tier, which I came up with kind of last night, where we can sit on a monthly one-on-one trade review session. We can either review your trades on stream over here, like I review my trades, or we can review your trades offline, and we can kind of sit together, understand where you're going wrong, where you're going right, what you should be kind of looking for in the market. A nice little 1-hour training session over there with me, and you also get my daily watch list sent to you every single day. So you can subscribe to that tier if you want to support me a little bit more, and that tier actually gives you extra perks. So you can now choose Patreon. And last but not least, I also have Cameo. So if you want me to wish one of your friends a happy birthday, or want me to record something wacky, something funny, you can go to Cameo and use ! Cameo video and hire me to do some stupid stuff over there, whatever it is that you want me to do, record a little video and send it out to you. So feel free to check out those 3 new things. You're probably going to hear me talk about it quite a bit. Just trying to make any extra money that I can that will allow me to be on this adventure that I'm trying to do a little bit longer. Trying to monetize YouTube is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. Obviously, the stream's not really bringing in millions of views. It's not there yet where we want it to be. So looking for natural monetization on YouTube is taking a little bit longer. So I'm going a little bit of personal help monetization route. So if you want to choose that route, you can do so once again by doing !Patreon. Now let's get to the fun part, which is what everyone's here for. All 4 of you in the chat, this is what you're here for. So let's get started. Our big watch list on the day. We got a long list of stocks as always. First off, Oracle coming out with earnings report after hour tonight. So we want to see how Oracle moves around in the after hours. But first, let's take a look at the earnings report. Looks like the earnings report over here for Oracle is coming in around where is it? We missed EPS. Sorry, we beat on EPS. We missed on revenue. Slight miss on revenue. Not that big of a miss on revenue. Obviously, not sure what the guidance is, but just off a quick glance over here, looks like the report not being appreciated by the market and a big swing to the downside coming in on Oracle. And now we have to see what type of opportunities that gives us. Where did we actually push down on this move? All the way down to 104 area, which we have a line right down over here near 104 all the way down to, I guess you can say, 103. The next support all the way down to 100. So it looks like the stock is getting ready to kind of basically burst down below 104, go down to the hundreds area, maybe find support somewhere around 100 or 97. I wouldn't be surprised if we test this 97, 98 area either. So look out for supports to being built in somewhere between $98 and $100 over here on Oracle tomorrow, and pretty big downside move so far. But let's go see what the guidance is to see if it can help us create a better thesis for our trade over here on Oracle. So Oracle stinks on stock sinks on mixed report. Looking for the guidance over here real quick. Q2, we see Q2 numbers. Q2 cloud revenue up 25%, infrastructure revenue up 25%, cloud application revenue up 25%. Okay, all things are looking good so far. Demand for our cloud infrastructure and generative AI services is increasing at an astronomical rate. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Shares are trading lower after the company reported Q2 financial results. Yes, we got that part. Looking for the next results. Okay, looks like this is something to keep in mind. Oracle was down. Yeah, we knew that already. Where is this next numbers I'm looking for anyone wondering what I'm looking at? I'm looking at the Benzinga platform. Obviously you can scroll down below in the description to find the Benzinga link if you want to get Benzinga for yourself. Over the last 12 months, operating cash flow was up and free cash flow was up. So all things are looking good, except for the fact that they obviously missed on revenue slightly compared to estimates. So the market not liking that at the moment and shoving the stock right back down to this 103, 104 area, which we kind of want to keep an eye out for. So I'm just going to put in some supports over here. 104, 103. After 103, we have the 100. And then we have the 97. As for resistances, stocks at 104. As for resistance, I think this 107. Is that 107? Yeah, 107.50. Oops. Where did my thing go? 107.50 for resistance, and I don't think the stock should technically go above 107.50, but it does for any reason go above 107.50. We have this 110.50 to 111 to kind of watch out for after that. So we'll put on those two levels, 110.50 to 111, at which point I think the stock most likely stalls out and doesn't go too much higher, unless the stock does something like what Lululemon did LU, which monster reversal on the earnings report. We dropped down first, and then insane reversal to the point where the second day play was also good. Now Lulu at a new all-time high at $500 or so. So pretty insane move on Lulu on a day two move. But Oracle, not really expecting a big move on it like that. However, the earnings report wasn't really that negative in my opinion. They slightly missed. All things on their reports did look good, so my bias is a little bullish. Little bullish because nothing on report looked that bad. So nothing on the report looked that bad. The stock's already at this 104 area. If for any reason we're at 109, we could look for some longs off of there. If we are holding 104 and the stock's not really going below 104, I guess that's like kind of the inflection point. If stock can hold 104 and not trade below, that looks good for a long. If stock is under 104, just wait for 103 or 100 to find buying instead of shorting. If stock is at what is this? Yeah, 110. Be careful because it might get sold. So those are the kind of levels that we're looking out for Oracle at the moment. I'm pretty confident with my trade ideas that I have. I'm confident how I want to trade it on the upside. I'm confident how I want to trade it on the downside. And if 104 ends up holding, which is my inflection point, I'm pretty okay with taking that long and keeping a tight stop, because if it does go back below 104, 103, then I'm okay with trying the next time at 97, at 100 areas later on ORCL. I think this one's report wasn't as bad as the move itself was. However, sadly for the earnings report, we only have one earnings report to talk about, and it's ORCL, KC, Bluebird, NOTV. None of these actually seem that interesting for us, and earnings reports are kind of dying off at the moment. As you guys can see, we got Adobe coming up later on. That's kind of cool. We got Costco, maybe Jawbill later in the week too, but for the most part, earnings are dying off, so that's not the most exciting things that we want to look out for. Kind of time to start looking at the Robloxes, the Rivians, the Palantirs again, at least for a month or two wait till the next earnings season start back up, right? That's the beautiful part. Earnings season, you have 4 of them every week. Sorry, every week. 4 of them every year, and as one dies out, the next one just prepares to get going, and that's a beautiful part. However, since we are running out of earnings for us to talk about for that announced tonight, we have to kind of go back to some of the stocks that already announced earnings, some of the stocks that kind of moved around, and the next one on my watch list over here happens to be AMD. So let's go take a look at AMD, which recently just made a monster move to the north side and now taking out the 52-week high, going up a little bit higher. We're hanging out near 134, 135-ish or so. We did close at 134.50, but the high of that move was 135. And if we were to zoom out a little bit on AMD over here, AMD hasn't been in these prices for about a year or so, right? Pretty solid breakout. Now the question is, does AMD find buying on the move back downside and hold those areas instead of moving back below those areas? So we need to find buying on the dips, especially into 131, into 133, and hold those prices. If those prices are not getting held, then it's kind of like, come on, what are we really doing here, AMD, right? So my first area of support, in my opinion, I want to see this 133, this previous 52-week high area, show some buying. If that area does not hold, then I can kind of wait for 131 and 131/130, I guess you can say. Well, technically 131 should end up holding, and we should not go too much below that. So waiting for AMD to show me some buying in that 131 to 133 area. As for resistance, you're kind of looking at really the only price point with in the 52-week scale where the stock traded at the highest level, which is today. So you're looking at today's high, 135. 135. The next point, kinda, you're looking at this 140 where the stock curled off of 140 over here, and then after 140 we can maybe look at maybe 150. We have $5 levels that you can take a look at, but obviously we haven't traded here in a long time. So in my opinion, the only levels that matter now on AMD are like 150, 160, and we're on the move towards that price point. If we can reclaim this 140 area on AMD, why are we not moving towards that all-time high price point? That's actually pretty insane. Shout out to AMD. Is that all-time high? Shout out to AMD. Wow, what we were. So I mean, not too long ago we were pretty scared of our AMD position down here, and now AMD is pretty much marching towards all-time high. Pretty happy with my portfolio, I guess, but yo, I'm shocked. As for our notes and as for trade ideas, yeah, looking for that 135, possibly expecting a move into 141. 141.25s over here for the upside on AMD, and see what happens if we reclaim 140s. See if there's a move into 150s later on. So as for the nodes, expecting nothing is going. Expecting stock to find support in front of 130s, on which we could look to get long. If stock can get above yesterday's high and hold, could also get long here. Bullish bias if market is bullish. However, tomorrow I don't expect the market to do a whole lot of much with FOMC being on Wednesday. Just going to keep throwing that out there again and again for everyone who's listening, because I don't want people to think that the market is going to be wild again tomorrow like it was a little wild today. 0.85% up to the north side on the QQQ. Nice little breakout over here. S&P 500 also going a nice little move to the north side with a 0.39 move up. So nice move to the upside overall on both these baskets of ETFs, but I would urge you to be a little careful if you're expecting a day 2 move on the markets over here to the north side, especially with FOMC coming out on Wednesday and apparently CPI also coming out tomorrow. So for that, let's quickly where is my economic calendar? There you are. So for that economic calendar, there you go, core CPI coming out. I'm just gonna quickly take a screenshot of this, post it in my Discord because I love helping out my viewers. So let me just quickly go to my Discord economic calendar at stock market Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. Post that in there. Also post it in my notes because then I don't have to kind of scramble for this tomorrow in case I forget. So we got CPI tomorrow morning, and then Wednesday we got FOMC, ladies and gentlemen. FOMC. T8 saying Apple fell. Wow, okay. We'll take a look at Apple. Obviously we have Apple in the watch list without doubt. But first up, we got Uber, because Uber is getting ready to also push towards the all-time high into that $64 area, as this stock is getting ready to add into the S&P 500 index. So here comes a $64 price point. Uber now showing us some support in front of 60, actually holding $61 today, not even going down to $60. So that's a little bit of a checkpoint. 61 actually happened to be the 2-day VWAP. So held that 2-day VWAP, held today's VWAP, got above yesterday's VWAP, and then basically grinded all the way to the upside all day. Didn't really push up to 62, sadly, but however, if you were looking for that long, let's quickly go to the 1-minute chart and see how that look. Ooh, beautiful. Right side of the V, you could have got long there. You could have risked a low a day. You could have basically got long 61.15, 61.20. You were risking 60.95, and your big reward monster move to the north side. You're laughing. Multiple dollars per share for tiny risk. Uber showing you that buying power still there for the north side, as people are getting ready for this ad that's coming up very soon. So I think, you know, you can still watch this stock. I think you can still look for buying to come in that $61 area. Yesterday we closed at 61.70. Today we closed at 62.40. This VWAP is still climbing, and yeah, I think anywhere from, let's actually go to the 60-minute chart instead. I think 61 still your buy criteria in my opinion. Yeah, 61's still my buy criteria and my support. So 60 is my support. No longer am I using 60. Sorry, 61 is my support. No longer am I using 61. However, 60 is where the S&P 500 ad news VWAP is. This is the earnings VWAP. So if for any reason the stock wants to trade below 61, you can expect 60 to show up some support afterwards. So I'm just gonna put 60 as R2, 61 as R1. And as for resistances, the only level realistically I care about is 64 to the upside. After 64, the next level below that, you can kind of make a level up at 63 today, but because 63 was today's high, but I don't think it really matters because the level 64 is a little bit more important. That is the all-time high for the stock, and I think clearly we can go down there. For me, the inflection is $60 to $61. If the stock is already above 61, then that's pretty bullish enough for me where we can kind of look for a long pattern around $62 or around $63, either a breakout pattern around 63 or some dip buy patterns into 62 into 61 where we can get long for a move into 64 on Uber. So that's something that I'm extremely excited for. So as for my notes, I'm gonna put in bullish as long as holding or trading above 61. Look for a long pattern into 60/61 or a breakout into 63 for a move for 64 or higher. Could even think about a 64 break if the setup looks right. Okay, next up, Lulu. So next up for Lulu over here, I mean, we already talked about this just a second ago when we were comparing it to Oracle because of how monster of a move Lulu came out with. Lulu had nothing wrong with this earnings report when we saw it. So this one actually, we were getting ready for that monster reversal. We talked about how this one also looked like a lot like CrowdStrike, if I remember correctly, where CrowdStrike on earnings day actually pushed down, but then monster reversal of CrowdStrike for the next few days continued. Lulu is looking a lot much like that. Lulu wants to replicate that CrowdStrike move, apparently going down in pre-market, getting up in going down after hours off the earnings report, going up in pre-market, the whole day ripping to the north side, the next day ripping to the upside. So now the question is, what happens on the day 3 type of setup? Do we come back down and kind of test day 1's VWAP, or do we test yesterday's VWAP, or do we just keep on blasting off and use this 500 area as a little bit of a support? As you see today on the 5-minute chart, or sorry, this is actually the 15-minute chart, which is a little bit even better in my opinion. It happens to be the 15-minute breakout. That 15-minute breakout, opening range 15-minute breakout, which took place, found support later on in the day right into that 499.50 slash 500 area, and held and ripped up to the north side. So I would love to see if Lululemon could find that support into 500 and not really dipping below 500 all the way to today's low, where it's 490. So let's find that levels that we were gonna mark down real quick on our support areas. Let's put 500 flat, afterwards 490 flat. We have this today's high as 507.50. I see Sky Fairies in the house. What's up, Sky? 507.50, and then obviously the next one is kind of 510. Maybe we just put 507.50 to 510 for anyone wondering what I'm doing. I'm just there we go. You guys see my watch list. I'm just getting my watch list prepared for tomorrow. Obviously, if you guys want to subscribe to that watch list, you can do so by checking out my Patreon link down below in the description, or doing !Patreon in the chat. You can do all of that. So Lululemon over here. Oh, I forgot to color my trades. So Oracle, I'm a little confident about the Oracle's setup, so we'll color that. AMD, I'm a little confident about AMD being an important trade tomorrow. Uber looks could set up for a top tier trade or not. So, but we'll still set it up, and then tomorrow's pre-market action will tell me. And then Lulu, obviously, we need to look for a day two type of, sorry, not day two, day three setup on this. So we'll see if Lululemon over here on a day three move can give us a breakout above 510 and more. And that's what I'm typing down in my notes. As for infliction, 500 is the level. Stock should not trade below 500. Bullish above 500. Stock should not trade above. Actually, let's go back to the 5-minute chart. Where's today's VWAP on the stock? It's exactly a 501.77, and yeah, I'm sticking with my 500 idea. Stock should not trade below 500. After how it traded Friday and yesterday, look for a day three setup. Okay, so looking for a day three setup on Lululemon. Next up on board, ladies and gentlemen, Docu, another stock that's been monstrous to the upside. Let's quickly zoom out over here to 60-minute chart. Instead, let's go to the yearly chart. This one gives a little bit more idea on the yearly chart than it does on the 60-minute chart for us. So as you guys can see, it does look like there's a little bit more room, but the stock could easily find some walls, some selling where we could get some stuff down action on this position. So I'm not really looking to punch long on this position. I'd much rather wait to see what happens near 55.28, because I don't want to punch long 54. I don't want to punch long 53.50. I want to wait to see what happens to see in this range, because I think there's a little bit of a pullback area, or at least some minor pullbacks on this position to go test some supports. It's a little overextended in my opinion. That earnings report wasn't that drastically big either. They announced something about AI in their earnings report, so that kind of got them a little bit of a boost. If you guys remember, previously the stock was $314 and now trading at what, $30 recently, compared to this earnings move that brought it to 50. So this is a little fugazi to me, if you ask me, and I'm looking for rejections to come in. So my opinion on Docu is a little bearish. As for resistances, I'm looking for that 55.30. I'm typing in support. As for resistances, I'm looking for that 55.30/55.50 area to show some wall. The next the first resistance, actually no, it's not even resistance now, it's just kind of support. That 53.40 area, I guess you can say $53 is kind of a support at the moment, and then the next one after that is kind of near $50. So I would much rather buy longs in the supports under 53 than look for the longs above 53 in my opinion. But as for the first support, 53. As for the next support, kind of near 50, and then after that 49. 30? Not really. 51. 53, 51, 49, 50. So those are the three levels that I'm kind of interested in over here to the downside, where we could find support in. I'm not really looking to see what happens near 53.40 to make a decision, but I think that's going to be the kind of the inflection point. So you want to wait and see what happens into 53.50. As for my notes, I want to see if stock can hold 53.50 or not. Failure to hold this level could bring some shorts, but holding this level doesn't mean long. Just wait for 55.50s to get rejected to get short instead. So DocuSign, you guys just heard me mention the notes over there. Obviously pretty important of a trade for me in my opinion for tomorrow. There is a day 3 type of trade if you are considering, I guess. Wait, give me a second. What day was earnings on the stock? This was day 1, day 2. Yeah, so there is a possible day 3 long trade for this, especially if the buyers are still there. But that could maybe just take it into 55 and then exhaust it and then bring it back down, which is where I kind of want to, set up for a short over here. So waiting for that. But if you are looking for the longs, dip buy opportunities are much better. You see how this day on the earnings day itself, 50-50 was the high. Maybe dip buys into 50-50/51, like I just put down in my notes, 51. You can look for those areas right into that right there, 50-50 into 51. Or you can just wait into all the way back into $50 if you're interested for those dip buys on DocuSign. Let's go quickly back to the chat, see what the chat's doing. DocuChart showing a spike. Yeah, it is spiking up, but I'm not sure it spikes up above $55, honestly. Patreon, VVG, not sure what VVG is. What's up? Can you chart Meta? Meta will be charted at the end of the day because it's a stock that I don't really trade, don't really care to trade Meta. So not gonna chart it until later on, until I find most important stocks that I like to trade at the moment. Yes, the buying will dry up and then it will then peak. For Docu? How does it peak if the dries up? Not sure how. Possibly. We'll see. I got my ideas, right? I'm looking for the shorts here. Not really expecting the stock to climb all the way back up there. As for the next resistance above 55.50, I guess if I'm going to put some more levels, it's going to be 59 to 59.60. To the north side. So that's another area of interest for me on DocuSign. The next stock, a little bit lower on volume side, but something that got absolutely beat up on earnings day. Today reversed quite drastically. Surprising reversal today, actually. Is going to be RH. RH with a pretty decent reversal and now setting up for even better short opportunities tomorrow. So looking to see what type of opportunities can we find over here. Quickly just going to color this stock on the orange color. Because of its pop, I think we're going to find some decent trading opportunities over here. And the first level of interest is going to be this 255.55. 255.55. See if we get holds rejections into this 252 to 255 area. And then the next support will be kind of the earnings VWAP, which is around 250. And if we can't get under 250, there's a lot of room under 250 where the stock can die off into. I think after 250, we're kind of just looking at Friday's close near 242/240. So I'm just going to put 240 on my notes. As for inflection, I think you kind of want to see what happens at that 250 and at the 255. So 250 and 255. I'm going to put down two areas: bullish above 255, bearish below 250, bearish below 255. So I think the main inflection point, I guess, is 255, which I don't think the stock should go to. And if the stock is not at 250, then your second inflection point is not at 255, then your second inflection point is at 250, at which point you want to see what the stock is doing at 250, because we're already not at 255. That kind of implements your 250 bearish sentiment. But if the stock is holding 250, then that's kind of like, okay, the stock might not actually do anything. It might just be a nothing burger type of setup at that moment. So you want to be a little careful. If stock is not even close to 250, this 255, this is bearish. So could look for shorts, but watch how stock trades into 250. If 250 holds, get out of shorts. If 250 doesn't hold, add to shorts. Mostly bearish in my opinion for RH. The next stock on board, ladies and gentlemen, we got C3AI. Skyfair is saying VVG is very, very good. Ooh, awesome. Oh, for the Patreon, you're saying Patreon very, very good. Yeah, I'm excited to see how many people actually subscribe to the monthly review session, or even the basic subscription tier where you can kind of help me buy a pizza slice or whatever. But more importantly, I'm excited to do the Cameo stuff, because I want to see what type of wacky stuff you guys make me film on Cameo, if anyone even subscribes to that. So I want to see what happens. Of course, you can do exclamation mark giveaway. If you are new to the chat, to the stream just now, and you haven't done exclamation mark giveaway, yeah, please do exclamation mark giveaway. Go get yourself a chance to win 1 month's free access to Midjourney AI bot, or a 3 months Xbox Game Pass for PC. So go join that giveaway. And if you haven't already, I also do have a Patreon and a Cameo going on, which you can Cameo you can use to make me do crazy stuff like sing people happy birthdays or anything, or you can even use Patreon to kind of subscribe to a monthly review session, one-on-one monthly review session, either live on stream or off stream, along with my daily watch list sent out to you every single day. So you could sign up to that on Patreon if you choose to do so. Now, coming back to the stocks that we were talking about, AI, ladies and gentlemen, C3 AI. Came out with earnings not too long ago, day 1, day 2, day 3, so not really expecting anything to happen. Day 3 was pretty muted. Day 1 itself was pretty muted. Day 1 very sideways because the market was going up. I think day 2 went up and day 3 was pretty much muted again, so not really expecting too much of a move here on C3 AI, especially going into Tuesday, going into FOMC on Wednesday. We've seen the resistance kind of being put in. Earnings move was down, second day up, third day not really having any continuation on that, so this kind of implements a little bit of a move back down in my opinion. So you want to see what happens at 28. If 28 is still holding on AI, then there is no shorts at the moment. But if 28 breaks down, then you got a nice little move down to around 27.30. Hello? 27.30, and then after that, most likely probably back into the earnings ranges of $25 and so on. Let's just put 25. Notion's a little annoying sometimes. Back to 25.50. As for resistances, we got that 28.50, solid wall at 28.50 on the second day and on the third day. If we do clear past that 28.50, then maybe something around $38 could show up where we can make a decision on AI. At the moment, not really too excited to make a trade on AI based on how it's trading, and this range consolidation doesn't really excite me too much either. Volume's dying down. There's going to be probably way better trades to take a look at, such as Rivian, Roblox, Affirm, GME or something. Right now AI doesn't really seem that exciting, so let's just head on to the next stock over here. We're gonna go to GME. Not really looking like too much fun either. It is rejecting that 1650 like a solid wall. Looks like that is a absolute brick wall that we cannot get past on 1650s, and now moving back, but there could be some buying action right into this 1430 to 1350 on GME. So if you are looking to make a trade, I think that could be the only areas to wait for, to see if 1450 or 1350 shows up to some buying action on the way down where you can dip by longs. But right now, for the shorts is where I want to be, and for the shorts you kind of want to wait near 1650, and I don't think you see that level coming back into play tomorrow. We might just have to kind of short this $15 area, at which point I might just stay away from the stock because that's not really too exciting. So moving on to the next stock, Chewy looking like it's getting ready to get into this nice little wall of resistance where we can make a trade. We previously looked for this area. We have notes for this area, but since we didn't go into work today, we missed on this trade. That's nice little breakout of that $20 area for a move up to the north side. You almost got 21 out of it. 20 came back to held support. Now the question is, what happens to the north side above 20? The stock goes into the orange color basket, obviously. Once again, for anyone wondering what the watch list looks like, it looks a little bit like this, with orange color, white color, and blue color listed stocks. Orange color being the most high priority for the day, blue color being the second high most priority, and Chewy going in that basket at the moment. So how does Chewy set up? Bullish above 20. Bullish above 20 for me, if as long as the stonk is holding $20 in the range from 21.13, let's say 21.15 to 21. Can you do some for me? 2160, that's going to be the resistance. Inflection point 20. If stock can hold 20, can look for longs. Is it actually flat out 20? Is it 1970 or something? Yeah, 1970. Well, today's low is actually 1930, which I don't think the stock should go to. I think somewhere in front of 1970 to 1920 1970 to $20, the stock should find supports. If the stock can hold 20, can look for longs for a move into 2150s. At which point expect stock to find selling. If stock can get above and hold 2150, could add to trade. Add to trade or start new if not in one. Okay, so Chewy getting ready for a nice little day 2 type of trade on Chewy. Obviously, previous earnings report not really the greatest, but the stock has been making a big move to the north side. As long as we're holding 20, it is bullish, but in front of 2150, it's a little bearish. So bullish above 2120, bearish under 2150, bullish above 2150. Okay, so bullish above 2150, bearish under 2150, bullish above 20. Next up on board, ladies and gentlemen, Charge Point. Let's go take a look at Charge Point. Chewy is a dog stock. Indeed, it is a dog stock. Pun intended. Both ways. It's a stock for dogs, meaning it's a dog company, but it's also a dog stock, meaning it's a dog shit stock, dog shit company. Next stock, next one coming up, ChargePoint, another dog water company over here. Actually, I'm not sure if ChargePoint would be considered a dog water company because, actually no, I think it should be because all they do is make chargers, right? For cars, and they are no longer the North American standard, so they're pretty useless, in my opinion at least. So we'll see what happens over here. ChargePoint, however, is the next stock up on board. We were looking to see how ChargePoint would behave at $2.20. We're still seeing support into 220 exactly as planned. So as long as $2.20 shows support, you could look for long, but then you have resistance at 240 sadly, and then after 240 we have another wall at 250. So kind of from 240 to 250. You can look for a resistance, and 220 you can look for support. ChargePoint not really too exciting right now. If 220 shows support, you could kind of look for the longs. So we're going to color this one a little bit in a blue color. Volume's dying down drastically on this position too. So not really that high of a priority. As long as stock can hold $2.20, can look for longs. But watch out for the wall into 240/250. Okay, the next stock, ladies and gentlemen, we got Dollar General, DG. DG is it had a pretty good earnings bounce into resistances, but then sold off that resistance pretty hard, and now we're below the earnings day low, so not really finding buying into earnings day low, and continuing to sell off. Not really looking good over here. Is this the earnings day? That's a CEO news anchored VWAP. So that one's a little bit older than the earnings. You're seeing the earnings anchored VWAP over there. This is the CEO news anchored VWAP that the stock actually started making that move up towards. So interested to see if this anchored VWAP, which also happens to be the 52-week day low, the 52-week day low anchored VWAP coming in to find support, as the earnings anchored VWAP has been showing nothing but selling. So pretty interested to see what happens on the move down over here into 121.50s or so on DG. I'm going to use a derivative support here. Yep, that's right, derivative support. A little bit of a smiley face being established already, but that's not high enough of a time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, there you go. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, see, that's like kind of the 52-week low, I think, if I remember. No, that's not it. That's right around here. I mean, that's a pretty good flat support. 116, 117. No, what happened? Oh, okay. I got scared for a second. Okay, let's just put the lines over there. I like that. Not sure why this line is there. Probably from some after-hour move in general. Overall, we have this box from 112 to 116. Let's say 116.50, 117 area. We do have this 121 area that we're kind of interested to see. That's where the anchored view out from the CEO catalyst is. Not really putting down any levels that I'm too confident on. So as for supports, look to see how stock trades from the CEO news slash 52-week low AVWAP. Could find buying here around 121.50s. As for the resistances, we got tons of resistance to the upside, sadly. You got that 132 wall, you got that 140 wall, which the stock can easily find rejection at. So let's zoom back into the 1 year chart over here. So quickly into this little wall over here. What is that? 129? No. I'm just gonna put 130 if this is 129. Yeah, these anchored VWAPs are on an incline down. These are not really looking like this, so there's a reversal just yet. This is still bearish. Bearish sentiment, right? It's still bearish sentiment. These anchored VWAPs are curling down. They're still selling. This one's kind of flattening out, so maybe you could find some buying over here. But notice how this one's on an incline up, but now flattening out. That usually indicates a possible reversal of the trend where this could go even more lower to the downside. So obviously you want to be a little careful over here. After 121.50, we have that 116.50 slash 117 area for Dollar General to watch out. As for resistances, we were just mapping out. I think that 132 area is something that I'm going to keep my eyes peeled out for. 132. And as for inflection, I think I'm not really sure what I want to have it mapped out for inflection just yet. Next up on board, MongoDB. MongoDB has been a little bearish off the earnings report, but finally finding a little bit of buying off that report. Today we actually got back above one of the solid resistance areas that I was keeping an eye out for, but not holding too much above that area, showing you that there's selling coming in just above 400. So 400 to 404, kind of an important area to keep an eye out for. That's where we were today, and then eventually the stock not finding buying above 400 and selling back to the downside was an important indication. But look at this, we're flattening out the earnings VWAP. The earnings VWAP has been on an incline down, flattening out the earnings VWAP and now getting ready to curl back above, kind of indicating a possible reversal in trend like I was just mentioning earlier. So MongoDB indicating that maybe it's done selling off. We've sold off from what, 400s to 440s, 450s to 370s, and now getting ready to climb back up a little bit maybe. So that's something that stands out over there. I remember looking at MongoDB's PE, and they don't really have a small PE. They don't have a PE at all, if I remember correctly. There you go, forward PE of 121. This company has been struggling recently, so you might want to be careful being bullish. I am a little bearish on MongoDB, I'll be honest. So any failure to hold 400, in my opinion, would be weak. I'm gonna put 400 as support and as resistances because we could see the stock climb back above 400. As for today's VWAP, it's over there. Yesterday's VWAP is going to be somewhere over here. Yeah, I'm not sure MongoDB is really in play tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if it's really in play. Even if it is, it might be a stock that you might have to wait for like midday, later on in the day, to find that the stock at one of its higher end of the levels, or find the stock at its lower end of the levels to actually pull a successful R2R win out of it on MongoDB. I'm not really liking the setup on it. We have a bunch of other stocks which are high volatile, high price, and decent volume. to take a look at. So I think MongoDB is just not going to cut it for tomorrow as a high priority stock, but it'll still be up there as a stock to cycle through and find some trades eventually. Here is a stock of a low price that sadly... Oh, this is not it. Here's a stock of a low price that sadly doesn't bring in too much volume, but it is pushing into a nice little price area that I am interested in. So that's going to be this 47.30/48 area, I guess you could say, because 48 is today high. On play, Dave & Buster's earnings report positive. The stock has been popping up ever since. On light volume, looking to break out and make a new 52-week high. It tried so on the earnings day, failed miserably, flushed down. It tried so on the second day after that, got up to that price point pretty evenly, but didn't really break out. And then today we finally broke out, giving it a nice little move up to the north side and giving it a little bit of a breakout, showing some support in this area. So for this stock, for me to be bullish, I think we still need to see this area get respected. It's going to be a little bit lower on the volume side, so you're gonna have to give the stock kind of an all day to trade, right? As for supports, once again, anywhere from 46.88, let's say 47 to 47.30 is what we're kind of expecting for Dave & Buster's to show support. 47 to 47.30, as long as the stock is bullish above 47. As long as stock is holding 47 or even 47.30, you can look for longs to build in for a nice little move up for the rest of the day, especially if the market is also strong on the day. If the market's strong on the day, it just helps our thesis to get long on the stock. However, volume decreasing. It did a million shares, or sorry, 4 million shares recently on earnings day, and then just died off volume ever since. So a little bit low priority stock. However, this one's going to be a higher priority than MongoDB or Dollar General, just because how the stock is setting up, but still not high enough of a priority where it makes that cut, that big cut that we needed to. Asana is still showing support in front of 1850. That's good, but we want to short the stock, if I remember correctly, right? It sold off the earnings. $20 area is still that area where we want to see what happens, and that's exactly where the earnings anchored VWAP is right now. You can see how the stock is it peaked above 20 on earnings day up to 2050, but then slammed right back to the downside. So not really seeing too much above 20 is what I want to do. Sorry, I don't really want to see too much above 20. So as long as the stock is bearish below 20, as long as stock is below 20, could look for shorts. Supports 1850, 1850s, and inflection is 20 in my opinion. So let's put in that color orange, because I think Asana is on a little bit of a higher priority for tomorrow. Next up on board, before we do that, let's take a quick look at the chat again. Chat coming in saying, John Von Sewers, Prad, have an input on Meta. I smashed the like too. Yes, we're going to talk about Meta very soon. Like I said, I look at the large cap basket at the last. I always look at the large cap basket last thing. So we'll wait for that one. That way, you guys can't go anywhere. I got you guys locked up over here for the large cap basket. Okay, the next stock, however, is Box. This one, not really looking too exciting. We were pretty excited to short the stock, but we are seeing decent hold of that 24. 24 just does not want to break. So I guess as long as 24 is holding, just get long on this stock, but I'm not really looking to be bullish. The earnings report wasn't too strong. The stock is currently getting sold off into that 24.50/25 area. So looking to continue selling into 25, bearish under 25. So as long as it's under 25, you can keep shorting it, but don't short 24 because you can see how it's finding support right into 23.50. Next stop is 23.50. Inflection 24. Don't short 24. Just wait for stock to trade and hold under 23.50 to get short, or short at 25. Okay, so that's for box. However, I think this one is going to downgrade from the orange color list of stocks that it has been recently and go into the blue color list of stocks because it just hasn't been giving us a promising trade at all, sadly, for that stock. So just gonna change the color over here for box. Box just not cutting it, just not making the cut. I signed up, says Sky Fairy, for the Cameo or for Patreon. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, thank you, Sky. I need some sort of an alert. I thought I had an alert. Maybe not. I'll set those alerts up. We have a Patreon member. Ooh, I disagree. I see the support there. For where, TH? Avoid AI. Yes, avoid AI. Chewy is a dog stock. Chewy has overhead resistance. Wonder if Dave & Buster's is an investor's business daily recommendation. Doesn't have much overhead resistance. Yeah, play is looking like it's got some moves, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, at least to 50s. Looks like it's got some move at least to 50s, right? God damn it. There you go. Yeah, it looks like it's got some room at least towards 50s. I like this. I like this long on play. However, the next stock is, we were talking about box. Next one after box is Sentinel One. One of the stocks that actually gave us a beautiful long on earnings day. Now getting prepared to take out this $25 barrier and launch even more to the high side. And this one we've seen be, pretty volatile, pretty crazy anytime it sets up for a long. So I'm excited for Sentinel One to show up again for another day to help us out to make some money. So over here, 25 is a barrier for me that I'm watching to see what happens. As for supports, I would love to see the stock hold up in front of 24 and not really trade under 24. Is that 24? Yeah, I don't want to see you under 24. So 24 to 25, nice little dollar range where we can use to make our decisions. And if 24 breaks, I think the stock has a room all the way back down to $22 over here that we can capitalize on. So pivot point, or yeah, pivot point / inflection point, 24. If stock cannot hold 24, could see a move back down to 22 to short, but if 24 is holding, could get long for a breakout into 25 and higher. Breakout into 25 and higher. I think Sentinel One might just go into the orange color of baskets tomorrow just because how it's set up today. It looked like it was getting ready for the breakout, didn't have that juice, didn't have that power. Obviously tomorrow I might not bring the power for it, also with the market going into FOMC on Wednesday. So a little bit of juice or no juice type of day, very question mark type of day tomorrow. If Sentinel One decides to do its own little separate move, then we can join that move and have fun to the upside. So I'm looking forward for that move over here on Sentinel One. Pretty bullish as long as we hold 24. Next stock over here, actually something that I wanted to make for dinner. I was feeling soup. I don't know why. My throat was feeling a little bit scratchy. I was feeling like I wanted soup. So maybe we could get that ready. But however, Campbell's soup over here pushing into a nice little solid range to the upside. It is $44. Look at this range, rejected, 44, rejected, and then pushing right back into 44 today. Ended exactly at the high of day by 1 penny shy, and now so close to breaking out that 44. So as long as we get that prime breakout into 44, maybe right off the open, Campbell's soup might just have to be the #1 watch on the day, because this breaking out of 44 could take it right into $47. A beautiful move up. I know that's a little over exaggeration. Prad's Campbell Soup ATR isn't even that high. You're dreaming, you're smoking ganja if you think the stock's gonna go that far. Its ATR is $1 and you're saying it's gonna go up $3. Yes, I'm a little crazy, but look, on special days it gives you that ATR, right? On special days it gives you that ATR. Tomorrow there's nothing special for it to give you that ATR, but we could look for at least some fun moves. Maybe we go to 45, maybe we go to over here 45.50, and then the next day on Wednesday we go up to 47.50, and then on Thursday we go up to 47. A good little swing trade, right? You got beautiful risk to reward happening right into 44 setting up, where if we go back below 44 and trade under 47.34, let's say we trade under 43.50, right? You're risking 50 cents for a $4 move as a swing trade. What more do you want, in my opinion? So watch for that buying to show up on the market, on Campbell Soup in front of $44 for you to be involved. Bullish if stock can hold 44. If stock can break out and hold 44 on dips, could look for longs. Campbell Soup upgraded to a higher tier basket of trades for us tomorrow, CPB. Next up on board, GitLab, not really a day trade type of position in my opinion. It's more like a swinger's paradise because that's what I've been doing it. I've been swinging it for so long now and have been having fun with it. Not really a day trade, so I might just have to move on from this one. Let's go to the next stock, which is SJM, Smucker's Jam coming up. This one has been a pretty good trade for us on the breakout of 120, but right now stalling out a little bit. I'm still waiting to see what happens in front of 125, which we're not at yet. I think SJM still has a little bit of time for it to get ripened to us to trade it. Not just there yet. Maybe some dips into 116, 120 could be considered. The spread is pretty nasty. The volume is pretty low, so I'm not really interested too much to make a decision on SJM. We have a bunch of other stocks at high prices if we want to make a trade. So let's move on to the next trade. Pat looks like it's not really doing a whole lot of anything at the moment. If it does break out of 25.50, maybe we could look for something. I'll throw in an alert over here at 25.40. See what happens above 25.40, and I'm just gonna put in my notes: 25.50 resistance, support. I'm gonna put in somewhere over here at $23. For Pat, and then I'm just going to wait patiently to see what happens on the move up or move down. Right now, not really too keen to make a trade on Pat. UiPath kind of dying out. Carvana still stuck in this range. That 36.50, I mean, we put down this in our notes every single day, but we don't really make a trade out of it because, you know, dying volume. So not really too exciting, but if you want to look for the long 36.50, you still have this 42.20 to 43 area. Let's just say 42.50 area still acting as a little bit of a wall over here on Carvana, not really allowing it to go higher than that. So if we do break out, maybe then we can take a look at it. Next up on board, it says Alta. Alta is a pretty high expensive stock and not really doing too much. We did break out, but then we're dying down, so Alta kind of going in the back burners. Rivian, it's a little bit more exciting because this 1950 area, we keep walking into this 1950 every single day and then getting smacked right back to the downside. So looking for the stock to see what happens above 1950, and then after 1950 we have that 2020 area to watch out what happens too. As for supports, we can look at to see right into this where is this the earnings VWAP? Sorry, let me just quickly do this. Oops, what is this? That's the news VWAP for Rivian. I think that news was when they were talking about the dilution and whatnot. Finally, we got up the dilution VWAP. This is the earnings VWAP. Both of them are kind of meeting in around $18 at the moment, $17 and $18. You see how the stock traded kind of around 18 to 18.50. I bet if we go to the 60-minute chart, you can see kind of like that $16.50, $18 area standing out possibly. Let's zoom out a little bit more. This is choppy, man. I don't really like it. I'm not really too excited for the downside move on Rivian to kind of even trade it because of how choppy it was. You could find supports in a lot of areas over here. So I think the only area that I'm kind of interested to make a decision to see what happens. If we push up here and reject again, could look for resistances. If we push up here and hold up above these prices, could look for longs on Rivian. Next up on board, Roblox. Roblox did finally close that gap. Insane close of the gap. I remember calling out the long over here when it broke below the 52-week low and got back up, kind of giving you a failed double top, failed double bottom, giving you a monster reversal to the north side. I remember calling out that long for a swing trade, but I'll be honest with you, I did not expect a big move like this. I thought closing somewhere over here was profitable, and that's what I did with my options trade. But what a monster move over here on Roblox overall, and now looks like that solid range. You see how we struggled at $43 on Roblox almost for a month or two. So that $43 area, pretty solid of a range to keep an eye out for. 42 also an area to keep an eye out for. So 42, then 43, 42, then 43, and then after that we got 45, and then we got 46, 25. So we got a couple areas over here of interest on Roblox. As for support, I'm interested to see what happens on the way down into 39, is it? 38.60? Yeah, 38.60 and then 39. Why don't we just put 38.50 to 39 range to see if supports can show up, as long as... Oh, it's actually the earnings VWAP, isn't it? Yeah, earnings VWAP's exactly near 39. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. Bullish above... What is this? Did I say there was 30? This is 36.60. So I'm going to put that one as my next line. Bullish above 36.60. Inflection point will be 39. If stock can hold above S1, can look for longs into R1 and R2 if the market is bullish and Roblox looks to have volume. Okay, I think Roblox doesn't actually belong in the orange basket of tier stocks. I think this one goes into the blue basket. However, we were pretty confident on this stock. Doesn't really have its own catalyst. No real catalyst, no real news. Roblox just popped up recently, started trading higher, so I'm not really too confident as to why the stock was doing this. But if there is a trade for us to capitalize on, obviously you need to put this one on watch list. You don't want to wipe it off the watch. It'll be very, very bad for you. We like BBWI retail sympathy question mark. What is BBWI again? Bath and Body Works. I mean, I haven't really traded it. It's a okay stock, I guess. 4 million shares is not bad. It popped up into a decent level that I guess I was watching previously. Let's quickly throw another line over there and another line over here somewhere to the north side. So we have these three areas of interest all the way from $38.50 to $40 over here on BBWI. If we do peak above $40, there is some move all the way up into 43 possibly that we could look out for. But if we don't peak above 40, then there is possible shorts to get into on BBWI. So let me actually color my Roblox into, I thought I said blue. Yeah, I'm going to put it on blue. And then right below Roblox, I'm going to insert one below. And I'm going to put in BBWI because I like that area, that $40 area to keep an eye out for. Bearish below 40 and bullish above. So bearish below 40, bullish above. Kind of put this one on my orange basket of stocks, I guess, because I like any stock that's pushing into decent levels. Now, if the idea is if we go into 40 and we're not able to hold above 40, a failed break of 40 or any sort of a pattern of a failure of 40 gives me a beautiful short back down, and any sort of a pattern of successfully holding 40 gives you another beautiful long to the upside, continuation long. So BBWI, that 40 area, pretty interesting. Thank you for the call out, Mr. Allen. All right, next stock, however, we were talking about UPST. UPST did give you a nasty move to the north side recently, but now it's kind of stalling out, waiting to see what it wants to do in this range over here that we had mapped out. Not sure why that range high is all the way up there. Oh, it's from here. Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. Okay, so... Okay, anyways, there we go. So this range over here from 39 to 39.50, basically UPST is kind of test that area. You see how previously we broke out and then we immediately dove right back below that area. So I'm expecting not too much buying above this price point from 39 to 39.50 on UPST. That's looking like a little bit of a wall for me, and once the stock pushes into those prices, you can expect a little bit of bearish under 39/39.50. Okay. For notes, if stock cannot hold above 39 or 39.50, get short and enjoy the ride. And that one is a pretty important trade for me for UPST if we are in these prices. So I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of an alert right above in the higher end of these prices, somewhere into 39-ish or so. That's too high. I'll put it 38.09, 38.89. There we go. 38.89 has my alert on UPST. And then now we prepare for it. Snowflake CRM, I think. Oh no, Snowflake actually triggered my alert. Well, however, the trade would have been a nothing burger. It only gave you about a $3 move to the north side past that area. So we were looking to see how the stock would trade into 194. Looks like we broke out of 194. We kind of consolidated, still find some buying right below 194 and managed to break out of 194. If you were looking for that long in this area, your long should have been somewhere over here, right into 193 or 192s. That's where your long would have been. Eventually you caught the move to 196, and then later on the stock comes and closes around yesterday's VWAP. However, yesterday's move was not the day one move or the day two move, so this one's a little bit of a WTF, right? So it's not really a proper breakout, but it's also not a failed breakout in my opinion, because we're still trading around this area, that area high 194, at least the line 194, and we're closing at 193. So in my opinion, that's not really a failed breakout, even though technically that's a failed breakout. Now, that being said, you can still look for that long, I guess, if you are interested. I'm not really interested to take this used level, right? You wouldn't like your girlfriend if she was used either. So I don't want this girl anymore. She feels used to me. She's not really the cleanest one either. Don't want to catch any STDs off of Snow over here. So I'm just going to move on from Snow. CRM kind of in the same basket in my opinion. Not really a trade to pull off at the moment. CRM just stuck in this areas. PDD, same thing. Not really getting ready to give us any sort of trades. Maybe a breakout to the north side over here. Then we can talk. But yeah, not really too much going on. Most of these stocks that I'm bringing up at the moment, not too much going on. CrowdStrike, however, is something going on. We did break out of that 240. Now looking like to go much higher on CrowdStrike. Okay, CrowdStrike. I thought WDay actually has a good setup too. So let's show you Workday. Workday pushing into this 282 area. That's something to keep an eye out for. I'm going to throw an alert actually at the 280. The Workday pulling up into a decent price point that you can look out to see what happens. Workday, I'm going to put in, what's that price point? 282. This one goes into the blue color basket. Blue color basket, resistance 282. And as for support, you can see how Workday has been kind of just finding support right in these areas. Right here near 268-ish or so. So we'll put down that number on that. Foot Locker, don't care. Shopify, I do care. Let's go take a look at Shopify. However, Shopify is just consolidating. We don't want to do anything in Shopify until it goes into these prices of $75. So putting an alert over there on Shopify, 75 to 75.50 resistance. And as for support, 71 and $70. Spotify kind of looking like Shopify, just holding off in the range at the moment, so nothing really to do on this one either. Let's move on to the next stock on board, AFRM, baby. AFRM. You better chill before you get canceled. Who gonna cancel me, dog? Who gonna cancel me? No one's canceling me, okay? Affirm. Affirm I gotta be a little bearish with the firm. I gotta be a little bearish with the firm. Let's actually circle back to a firm in a second, because I want to talk about an SMD Capital trade idea when it comes to a firm. I want to steal their trade idea, so we'll come back to that in a second. Let's go to net instead. Net is once again very much stuck in the range. I don't even need to look at the chart. 76 and 81. 76, 81. Our alert at 81 hasn't played out yet, so we're just waiting patiently to see what happens. This one goes on the blue background. Square, nothing's going on. Palantir, nothing's going on. Coin and Mara and Riot, these one are a little bit interesting because Bitcoin actually flushed to the downside today, going right back to 40,000, finding some support right off of 40, and now making a little bit of a move back up on Bitcoin, up 1.2% now, but we were down 6% at one point today, maybe a little bit more on Bitcoin. So obviously you want to watch out to see how Coinbase, Mara, Riot, all these stocks move around and to see what happens. Riot's insane level at 16 didn't even come into play today, so that area still matters on Riot. I'm gonna put down that 16 area real quick. For Mara, I think it was 15 and 16 also. Yeah, 15, 16 again for Mara. Obviously, Mara pulling back under 16 today with the Bitcoin pullback, and Coinbase having its own levels for us to look at. Next up, Apple. T8 said Apple pulled back. It did, but look how strong of a consolidation Apple has had in this higher end of the ranges. Even though Apple sold off, QQQ actually went up, being what, like 1 full percent on the day, or 0.89% on the day. The big basket went up 0.89%, or the tech basket, sorry, went up 0.89%, whereas the number one stock in that basket, or the number two stock, whatever Apple is at the moment, actually went down 1.29. So that's how strong the market is, whereas the number one weighted basket stock actually went down 1.29%, but the rest of the stocks still rallied, and we still ended up 0.85% on the basket. So that just shows you how much of a move the QQQ stocks are still holding. Wow, Microsoft is still. So what actually was positive in the QQQ then? Google was red, Nvidia was red, Tesla was red. What actually was up in QQQ? AMD? Like AMD alone helping the market today? Are you kidding me? Like what else was up? I guess Docu, Lily, or Lulu. Is Docu in the Tech 100? I'm not sure. Because the top 7, the Magnificent 7, look like they sold off. This is the Magnificent 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think Netflix is not in that 7. I think Tesla is in the Magnificent 7. And they are all red. The Mag 7 are all red, and Netflix, however, is on the green side. Pretty interesting to see the basket of stocks be green when the top 7 stocks in the basket is red. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so for tomorrow, obviously, we just talked about Apple. A lot of you wanted me to take a look at Meta. I don't really trade Meta, so I'm never really too confident about any of these levels that I give out on Meta. Let's actually quickly delete all these areas of interest that I have, so we can kind of apply new areas of interest for ourselves, and then see what could be some of the levels that maybe gives us a trade. Come on. Delete, 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 delete. Delete. All right. So here's the meta chart for the 1 day. Obviously, this is the 52-week high slash not the all-time high. The all-time high is over here. That's the all-time high. This is the 52-week high. Here's the monthly high, which is kind of already showing you a little bit of resistance. You can see how on the monthly high, right into 328, we're kind of struggling into 328 to 330 areas to really stay above it. So that's a little bit of a monthly wall over there. If we were to go back to the all-time high chart real quick, kind of throw in that anchored VWAP from the all-time high, that one comes in all the way down there. Let's go back to the 1 year chart again. Might just have to, oh, let me just do this too. $9.30. Put this one to $9.30. Okay. Based on this action that I'm seeing right now, this one is what again? Where does that one come from? Is that the earnings one? Guess so. Let me just zoom out to see if it is the earnings one a little bit. Come on, man, it wasn't that long ago. Okay, it is. Okay, earnings, 1 year. As you guys can see, it is holding above the earnings anchored VWAP at the moment. We have been above the earnings anchored VWAP so far, so that one's clearly indicating that there is a buyer so far, and they are still buying anytime we are dipping into these price points. The earnings anchored VWAP hold, indicating that there is a buyer still present. So there is still longs into 318.15, into all the way down into what, 315 or so. Not really looking too bearish, but the overall idea of this 330 wall that's showing up on the monthly chart at the moment, you want to see 330 wall turning off and turning into a support. So at the moment, not really seeing that on Meta, but looking at the anchored VWAPs from the earnings, looking at the moving averages at the moment, the simple moving average 100, which is this teal line, this is the moving average M4 that you're seeing, the teal line, and the moving average M3, the white line. The 50 period and the 100 period moving averages both are pointed up, both are inclined up, basically indicating momentum to the north side at the moment. However, the 9 bar and the 20 bar are kind of merging and indicating that there could be a move to the downside. So there could be a temporary move to the downside on Meta platforms, so be careful for that. But right now, 330 being a wall, I think if you are looking for the bullish moves, you want to see 330 breaking and then seeing what happens into 345, 343. And if you are looking for shorts, then you want to watch 330 continue being a wall. You don't want to watch 330 turning into a support, because 330 turning into support means we take out the 52-week high, and then we go into the all-time high over here. The next move above 342 possibly takes us into this double top over here into 350s, and then a straight shot into 380s in my opinion. So we got a nice little double triple top, as you guys can see, into 353, and then after that you possibly got to move up into 360 and then 380, clean move up to the north side. So watch out for that one on Meta platform. Still a little bit of time. This is a long time ago we've been here. This was 2021. We've been in these prices. Now we're kind of waiting to see what inflation does. I don't think Meta takes out 340 before Wednesday. I just don't think that's possible. It would be irrational to think that there's going to be some sort of a big buyer to come in, step into these positions and buy them up, especially when half of them are at all-time high prices and inflation is still at 5-6%, right? Interest rates are crazy. People are robbing jewelry stores and whatnot in San Francisco because life of living has been drastically getting spiked up. So expecting these stocks to continue making that rally would be a little drastic before interest rates actually go down, in my opinion. But who am I? A nobody. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know the future. What I do best is I find situations and answers to deal with if situation A happens and situation B happens. That's what you need to do as a trader. You don't get paid for making the guess or making the right guess, right? You get paid for putting your money where you made the guess and then being right on it. Putting the money first is the first thing. You got to execute on your ideas. So making the idea is great, but if you only make the idea for one possible situation, you're most likely setting yourself up for a history of failure. But if you prepare yourself for multiple situations, if situation A happens, I'm going to act on doing it this. If situation B happens, I'm going to act by doing that. Once you prepare for all these possible answers and all these possible situations, you know exactly what to do at what time. You're not going to get caught off guard by the market, and only thing you're going to be doing is printing that sweet cheddar, baby. That sweet cheddar. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who showed up to the stream today. Thank you, means the world to me. ESTC, just happened to stumble upon it. Could you take a chart? Look at that chart. What is ESTC? 1.5 million shares, not the highest volume. Oh, I remember this stock. Yeah, I remember this stock, ESTC. Yeah, pretty light on volume. Not really looking to, make too much of a big decision on this stock. Recently, it did pop up on earnings report. I remember looking at it on earnings day, but could not find a trade on it since, and I haven't really traded it since. If we were to find any trades, honestly, in my opinion, I'd much rather buy dips than look for the breakouts at the moment. But the stock looks like it wants to break out. I mean, if the stock finds support into 116, that looks good. You know what? I'll add it to my watch just because of you. Insert one below, ESTC. If it holds 116, I like it. Pivot point 116. If stock can hold 116, could juice out along into 120 or more. I'll put it into a blue chart. It goes into the blue basket for me. But notice how there is a lot more room below 116 to 112. That could come into play. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Actually, I did mean to do that. No, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so 115, 116. Well, that's 112 could come back to hold some supports if we hold 116. So I'm gonna put that area back, notes into my notes. The earnings view up is at 110, right? Below 110, we got this 107 peak that got held. So a couple areas to keep an eye out for. 120 looks like something that the stock is probably using as a resistance, and 116 looks like a support for me on ESTC. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even hit the sponsor today. So let me just quickly hit the sponsor, and then we'll kind of wrap it off with taking a look at the economic calendar, the IPO, the CPI, and all the other information. Be right back in 50 seconds. Hey, you there. Yeah, you with the Manscaped shirt. Are you tired of decoding the stock market? Are you looking like this guy, always lost after every single day? Well, look no further. Today, we got a brand new offer for you from TraderSync. This software will help you identify exactly where you're losing, where you're winning, and how to maximize your profits. Use code PRAD15 at the checkout. If you start journaling your trades, you will start trading better, and you will start looking like this guy. So what are you waiting for? Go on out there, go get yourself a TraderSync discount, use code PRAD15, and they also have a Black Friday sale going on with 65% off. Don't be late. John, thank you, John. Appreciate it. John's asking any information on Para. Yeah, Para looks pretty good too, in my opinion. Any dip buys into 15, 16 looks good. If the stock looks to break out of 1730, 1750s, there could be a bigger move up to the north side, possibly all the way back up to 19. Para looks good. I like it. Good call out on Para. Right now, we have been holding the bottom. Earnings report have been positive, and then ever since we have been making a move back up to the north. this range consolidation holding as a support on the curl and then breaking out. All of this information looks good to me. So overall, Paramount, I think a breakout of this area looks pretty solid to me. And if we do move back up to the $17, the stock could be on the watch list. So I'm just gonna throw in an alert at 17.09. I'm gonna throw in Paramount also in my watch list. I just don't have notes for it on my other watch list, so let's just throw it over here right under Palantir and right above ESTC. Paramount resistance is that 1735/1750. Our pivot point is basically 17. If stock can get above and hold 1735, could look for a long move into 19s. Bullish sentiment overall, and Paramount goes into the basket of color blue, meaning it's a higher priority but lesser than orange colored stocks. And as for support, I'm going from $15.50 to $16 on Paramount over here. From $15.50 to $16 for support, and that whole range I would expect support to get built back in by Paramount, says TH. Yeah, I like it. I like the call out, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. I like the trades that we've been giving out. Once again, this is our watch list for those of you interested. Our wonderful watch list on the day. We make watch lists like this every single day. Let me just bring it into the screen. We make watch lists like this every single day. Has a bunch of other tidbits and notes in there for you. If you want that watch list, if you want that watch list, you can subscribe for it on Patreon. So you can go to our link on Patreon in the description below, or you can use the chat command Patreon to get yourself the link and get yourself the ability to get that watch list every single day sent out to you. Next up over here, as we already looked at it, 8:30 tomorrow, the core CPI comes out. So that one's pretty important. The FOMC committee obviously will be looking at the CPI, the core consumer price index, to kind of see how they're fighting inflation and whatnot. A couple other important numbers to keep a lookout for is that 30-year bond auction coming out at 1 o'clock. That one could move the market. We have seen it move the market sometimes, so be careful for that one. Other than that, we do have a red book, not as important. It's just 8:30 and then 1 o'clock, so keep an eye out for that. For those of you who are wondering what the FOMC committee interest rates expectations are, 99.7% expectations of no rate hikes coming in for this Wednesday. So expecting another rate pause, and then we'll obviously wait and see how Papa Powell comes on the microphone and talks about, you know, possible rate pauses, possible rate hikes, and so on. And all of that will happen at 2:30 on Wednesday. Ooh, lots of fun going into this week over here for the market. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everyone, all 3-4 people who are still hanging out, all 4-5 people who actually tuned into the stream today. It means the world to me. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. I will catch you guys tomorrow, obviously, back here again at 8 o'clock for another big, long, extensive watch list of stocks to go through and charting session. So make sure you come by tomorrow. If you have not already heard, if you have not already heard about all the new things that we're doing, Patreon, Cameo, and the giveaway. So make sure you go check all those things out. We have a Patreon link down below. We have the Cameo link down below, and we have the the giveaway link in the chat. So do ! giveaway. Let me just do that for you in the chat real quick. If you haven't signed up for our giveaway yet, it's absolutely free. Go check out that link on giveaway. There you go. Go check out that link that Streamlabs has just posted and sign up for the giveaway. The winner will be drawn on Christmas Day. Until then, guys, see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Ciao.